Hi everyone. In this example, we're going to take a look at how to cast a shadow in a Paraline view. And I've drawn here a cube in plan oblique view. All right. These same steps will work with any Paraline view, including the isometric. All right. Just like in the plan and elevation, the first thing we want to do is determine which direction the light is coming from. I'm going to pick a really standard one for this example, right? And decide that I want my light rays to come on the page at a 45-degree angle, right? Just like here, 45, all right? And I want my bearing rays to come across the page at a horizontal or 0-degree angle. Knowing that, let's pick out some important points on our form. And for this cube, it's going to be this point, and this point. For each of those important points, we're going to project that point down to our ground plane. Super easy for a cube because all we have to do is follow the edge of the cube and realize that those important points are here, here, and here. From each of our important points on the form, we're going to cast a light ray. Remember, we've already predetermined that those are 45 degrees. So we can draw some guidelines there. From each of the important points projected on the ground plane, we can cast a bearing ray. All right, and those are our horizontal lines. Let's find the intersection of the light ray and the bearing ray for each point. For example, here has a light ray and a bearing ray, and they connect right there. This point has a light ray and a bearing ray, and they connect right there. And this back point has a light ray and a bearing ray, which connect right here. We will connect the dots to find the shadow form. And you'll find that the shadow falls on the ground plane right here. But this drawing's not done. What's missing? It's the shade, all right? Remember that the shadow is cast by your object onto another object or the ground plane in this example. But the shade is the side of your object or your form that is turned away from the light, right? It's not catching the light. And in this case, it's going to be this edge right here. Okay, and that's our example of how to cast a shadow of a simple geometric form in a Paraline view. In our last example, we cast a shadow of a cube in plan oblique view. But let's make it one step harder. Let's take it one step further, and we've placed something behind our cube. All right. So in this example, the cube is going to cast shadow onto that wall that I've placed behind it. Our first couple of steps are going to look exactly like the last example. We're going to identify the important points on our cube, project them to the ground plane, and then cast a light ray and a bearing ray from each important point. I'm going to use the same 45-degree light ray angle and 0-degree bearing ray angle. Okay, with those angles, you can visualize that the shadow is going to come over this direction, connect between these 2 points, and go back that way. Just like our last example. But the wall's in the way. So we've got a couple of important points here. One is where, if we connect these 2 points right there, the edge of the shadow, one is where that shadow line hits the wall, right? The other is going to be where this guideline right here and this guideline hit the wall. Right? And if we take a vertical guideline from that point, okay, we find the that it connects to or it intersects with the light ray right here. We can do the same for this top point. We projected it to the ground, connected the bearing ray until it touched our wall on the ground, and then projected that up and found this point. Okay. And so now we've found the outline of our shadow on the wall. It starts here, it goes up, it goes over, goes at an angle down, all right, and connects to our shadow on the floor. Let's connect these dots and complete our shadow. This drawing's not done. Let's add the shade to complete it. Okay, so we've cast the shadow of our cube with the shadow falling on a wall. Let's compare it to the last example. All right, you can see in this area here, the wall got in the way, basically, and cut off some of the last extension of that shadow, right? And it actually went up the wall in this area here, right, instead of flat on the ground.